I think all of us, come into a place where we all have to decide what we're gonna do with rejection, because I think we're all gonna experience it. I remember as a young leader, I was a young girl. I was like 19 years old. I had been invited to speak at a church, and I got to go on an airplane to Arizona, which was like a big deal, especially when you're in ministry and you're not actually paying to go somewhere, but they're actually paying you to go somewhere. It was a big moment for me. And so I get on this plane and we go to speak at this church one night. And I was brand new. This was my first official meeting outside of my own home state, or second state. And in the middle of the ministry, the pastor interrupts what I'm doing, which is praying and speaking and prophesying, and he shuts the whole service down. And I thought it was odd, but again, I don't know how to do ministry that well, so I figured this is how they do it. And we went out to dinner that night, and I asked the gentleman, so what did you think of tonight's message or service? And he said, well, do you really want to know? And I said, yes, which again shows how ignorant I was. And I said, yes. And he said, well, I don't believe in anything you did tonight. I don't believe in women ministry. I don't believe in the word that you gave. I don't believe in the prophetic being in that way. And so if I had known what you were going to bring tonight, I would have never had you. It's just a wonderful meal. It's like, check, please.
Wow.
But I remember, have you ever had someone say something to you where you're leaning into the punch and you feel someone just hit you in the stomach and you have no words and you wish you had the courage to tell somebody, well, I'm called and I believe but because the wind is taken out of you, you don't have anything to say. And I remember going home, my dad was preaching at another church in the area, and I woke my mom and dad up, and my sister and I are there, and I'm crying and I'm telling him everything I just told you. And my dad said something that I will never forget. He looked at me dead in the eyes and he said, well, Havilah, I guess you get to decide if man called you or God called you. And it was like he was just putting it right in front of me. You have to make the decision. Either you are chosen and called, or you are rejected and you're going to go to the wayside. And I remember taking that deep breath, and, I would lie. I'd be dishonest to say that those words are all that I thought of, because they really weren't. It took many, many years, but finally the Lord took me to the book of Timothy, where Paul is challenging the young man, and he says to Timothy, don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example. And I remember the Holy Spirit saying to me, you tell the enemy that if he keeps picking on you, you're going to make him the example every single time. And I remember getting up, and not in my own strength and not on my own, I'll prove you wrong. I've done that before, and not in all the things, but it was in I have a right to be here because I'm called to be here, and I'm chosen, and this is who I'm going to be, and I've chosen to serve God more than other people. So that's the difference I think that we're talking about, is not I don't care what you think of me, but it's I elevate the thought and the voice and the heart of God over what you think or believe about me, and that will always be elevated. And so I find I'm not past a place of rejection. I think things can hurt differently. Chris, you just shared that you had experience of not rejection, but just this difficulty in our hearts. And I think when we share things like that, it's because no one is above rejection. No one is above abandonment. No one is above reproach. We all can be in those places, and navigating our hearts in the middle of that is going to be critical. Having the tools to say, this isn't going to define me. It hurts me. I feel hurt. I feel rejected. I feel pain. This is real, but I'm not going to ride that wave to the beach. I'm going to ride the love, acceptance, and clarity to the beach. And I think that that's really, really important, identifying it. So I'm now teaching my kids. I'm now looking at my teen and my tween and saying, okay, Hudson, what are you going to believe? Are you going to let the world define you, or are you going to let God define you? And I'm doing the same thing, that same lesson in our lives. So I think it just kind of comes down to life and death.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe today and you'll never miss a new upload.
And don't forget to check out our Better Together shop. Thanks for being a part of our community.